Alright, hello! and because I'm very clever and really good at this streaming lark, I forgot to press go live. So I've just spent the last 10 minutes explaining stuff for nobody. But yeah, today we're going to be looking at actions. So these are like sort of methods where you can sort of like add other method calls on sort of at runtime. So I've got my example sort of for an entity action controller here. So we've got our public action. We need to use or bring in system to use this. And then by doing this, so we add the method example action to the example action. Okay, that was poorly named on my part, but you get the idea. And what this will do is every time we call invoke on the action, it will call any method that has been added to it via sort of this. So since we're doing it every frame, it'll just call action invoked every frame. Or the debug out action invoked every frame. And then the question mark basically is just a check if it's null. So if nothing had been added to example and we called invoke with the question mark, then nothing would occur. So I'll just save this, and likewise, just to demo how that works, we've got our entity action controller in the inspector there, and we can see that it's calling action invoked every frame without actually a direct call to example action. We're just doing it through the action. Okay. Now we're going to do this for well, the actual things we need. So we'll just get rid of all this. So I'm just going to make some basic actions I think everything would need. So on and before I do go, action game object. So what this sort of in the triangle brackets does is it means that the method you pass into your action has to have an argument. So in this case, the argument must be a game object. So on attacked. So void. So basically, on attack game object G void on attack no arg. Just doing this to show. So on attacked plus equals on attack. So we can do that, but we shouldn't be able to do on attack no argument. Plus equals on attack no arg. Yeah, it won't let us do it because it needs to have that argument. So things like this, public action, so item, so on item picked up, on item equipped, sorry, what else could we have? Public action on just trying to think of example ones that could be useful for the gameplay. Actually, no, I could have a vector 3. So on move. Okay. So this is basically how I'm going to have sort of stuff communicate between scripts without necessarily knowing what they're communicating with. So hopefully it'll make things less complex and easier to sort of get around. So I will add this to our player. I'll get rid of it off the main camera actually as well. So entity action controller, and likewise, actually no, if I don't do it there, if I go on prefabs person and just make that 0, I can add that to the player, or the generic person, and that will add it to the player prefab. Yes, it does. Good. Alright, now just to make things easy to see, I'm going to do that to differentiate the player and the enemy. So what we're going to do is have a sort of new I'm just going to make a quick sort of like enemy class. It's just not. I want to do a sort of proper like behavior tree system for it, but for now, what this will do, I'll just make the object move between points. So serialized field list transform. Actually, no, there's no point doing it in test. I might as well do it properly. So I'll just get rid of that. Sorry. Just being a bit indecisive today. Get rid of that. So entity. I'll just organise this a bit more as well. Base. Oh no, util. Stuff because these are not sort of restricted to any one enemy type. So that's anti-action controller and object mover, and then person entities. Hopefully I'll spell that right. I'll just move all those in there and make another one for entity AI. Human enemy. Okay, so for now, I have a serialized field of just a list of transforms that we will move around. Points to move around. Sorry, I'm just having a think here. Just wondering, do I start the behavior tree now? Something. Yeah, why not? Fuck it. So, just have folder for Behaviours. Create base behavior class. So won't need much, so shouldn't need that. So public virtual void perform behavior. Public virtual bool can behavior be performed. Set false for that. And finally, public virtual bool is behavior done. And return false for that. And then likewise, I'll just create another one that just derives from that to roam between a couple of points. Entity behavior roam. So we'll have that derived from entity behavior. So override, can behavior be performed? Override, is behavior done? Override, perform behavior. So now you need a serialized field, list of transforms. Actually, no, this will have to be a mono behavior, so we can assign stuff in the inspector, which is fine. Points to roam. So return true, basically, because we can always just roam about points. Return false, so it shouldn't technically complete unless it gets interrupted by another behavior. So just have an int for index 0, and let's get rid of that. Actually, don't need that. Where is it? Object mover to move. If to move equals null, to move equals this dot get component. Actually, no. What do I do? I'll just have a quick game object performing entity performing public void sets entity performing equals G, and public game object gets entity performing return G. Right. So we'll get the object mover. I don't know what I press there. Just made it bing. Okay. So to move dot move objects list of transformed position minus no, it'd be gets, let's save the direction actually somewhere else, with 3 2 equals gets, no, doing this wrong way again, easier just to put the method in here, so we'll just have a basic public void move object towards point 3 points, so this will just move it in a straight line towards the object. So vector 3 dir, we'll have the same arguments as the move object, equals point minus this dot transform dot position dot normalize position, and then we'll just call move object dir dot normalized. If you don't know what normalized means, it's just expressing direction as a value between 0 and 1, and then force, max velocity, and local space. So yeah, save that, then move object towards point, it was called. Was it? Nope. No, it was. I just didn't like it because I didn't put the arguments in. Towards points to roam index, and then we'll just have some method specific to this behavior. So bool is entity at points, return vector2 dot distance, gets entity performing dot transform dot position, points to roam index dot transform dot position less than 1 or something, and I need to put position there. So if is at points, then index equals random dot range 0 points to roam dot count, because this isn't a patrol script just yet, it's just move randomly between any of the points. Yeah. So I've got that. So I'm going to have a serialized field int behavior priority. No, I'm just trying to think of the best way to transition between them. Because we need some kind of condition to make it known. So, like, say if we're attacked, then I think that might actually be a job for the behavior tree class rather than the actual behaviors. So, to another class. Create new class, C# script, behavior tree. So I think for each of these behavior trees, it'd probably be best to have their own sort of unique script rather than trying to make something that's more generic that you could fit stuff into, just for ease of allowing you to debug your AI and have more complex stuff, but still using stuff that we've used, so like stuff that we made, like the actions to switch between scripts. So say public entity behavior, current behavior, so let's do that, and then serialized field, entity behavior. So have on neutral. So that'd be just default, and on attacked. So wait on this dot get components action controller dot on plus equals void switch to act current behavior equals on attacked. And we just need to put in an argument for a game object just to satisfy it. Attacked by now we'll just have another behavior just to what to do when attacked. So I'll just have a flee option. So again, it'll be similar to our roam, except right, I need to just change that so it inherits from entity behavior. And let's see, vec3 get furthest from attacker. Float dist equals 9999. Oh no, it's 0f, shouldn't it? And then int I equals 0 for int vec3 attack position. So what we're doing here is just writing a method to get the furthest point away from our attacker, basically. Int I equals 0, I less than points to flee2 dot counts I plus plus. I should use x because I'm already using I. Oh well. If vector2 dot distance. Actually, no, I'll store that for a second. Float d2 equals vector2 dot distance attacker position points to flee2 x dot position. No, I need that. If d2 more than dist equals d2 and I equals x, and then we just return points to flee2 I dot position, and we're going to have a get furthest from attacker, and I'm just wondering the best way to pass in data to these behaviors. Maybe like just a series of methods. So say if we just had vec3 attacker position, and then why have I got rid of 2move? I need that. don't need index, that's what I don't need. I'll just have a vector3 for attacker position, and then use that. And then just get rid of that, get rid of that. And what I think we'll do is have some more virtual methods just for passing in sort of generic data. So say public virtual void pass in vector3. So vector3 position, public void pass in game object vector game object G, and you get the idea. So in these behaviors we can have a method that just passes in a vector3, and then these methods can overwrite it based on what they want to do with it. So in this case we're going to override pass in vector3 and attacker position equals position. And likewise we're going to go back to our enemy behavior tree and current behavior dot pass in vector3 attacked by dot position. Okay, so we've got that. We've got enemy behavior tree. We'll just set that up quickly now. So game object behavior tree components behavior tree. Just make them child objects just to keep it simple. So roam, and we'll do one for fleeing, flee, and can't do that, can't multi-edit, so that's fine. We'll just have these as the points that they run about. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do that to assign them. That looks fine. Just make sure that these are all on 0 with the Z, so they don't look stupid. Okay, so object mover, fox slider, person animation controller, body controller, person retrieval controller. The action controller, that's the one. Okay. So roam, flee. I'll just set roam to be the initial one. So hopefully I can just thinking of the best way to sort of set it so the enemies get the behavior tree. Probably just do it on awake actually. Behavior tree, so just do it on awake. On neutral dot set C performing transform dot roots dot game object. So just having these behavior trees as child game objects of the enemy that or entity that's performing them would be easier or the easiest. So on Attacked.set entity performing transform.root.gameObject. So I'll just create a prefab of the behavior tree. Behavior tree. Okay, that's good. Now you go under person. And that works there. Got an email. LinkedIn, doesn't matter. So yeah, so that's got that now. That should run. It won't do anything if I attack them, but it should run between the points. It doesn't. Shit. What is not set to a reference of an object? Because I've set it to the wrong thing. Right. Should be transform.root. Root. Update. I've got a drink left for you. Current behavior dot perform behavior. So now this should. Yep, they're roaming about. We could probably do with facing the fucking thing actually. Let's just do that. Let's do behavior roam. To move dot look. What did I put for looking at? Because I know I did it. Should move dot face points to roam index dot position. Righto. I'll do the same for fling. To move dot face points. Actually, I'll just vector3 go to equals get furthest from attacker, so we don't have to do all the searching again because it'll be the same in every in that frame. To go to and to go to. Actually, there's a really minor optimization. We could just do to go to here and just assign it every frame, because while this will technically use the same amount of memory, it will stop it having to find a new location for the vector free every frame. So it'll be a negligible difference in there. But if you're doing something, say like a for loop where you're iterating over a list and you're like defining lists in it, just defining them at the outside of a loop helps with performance a bit, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does somewhat, but yeah. Hopefully you can get what I'm doing there, just so. Yeah. So now, you should be looking at it, but you're not. Why is that? As much as I enjoy the comical just yeeting yourself about. Is it just because I didn't save it and I'm just being a dumbass? I hope it's that. Yes, it is. And you get stuck because you can't move past there. That's fine. I will just remove the colliders off them. Don't need them anymore. And what is the final thing? Oh yeah. So we'll also need some kind of basic health script just to have something to call when bullets hit it or damage is taken. So just put it under util. So create C# script entity health. So public float max health, current health. How about this serialized actually? And I'll have a public void. Public void reduce health float val current health minus equals val this dot get components entity action controller dot on. Actually no, I'll do that from the bullet. I'll have to find somewhere to put to do something. I don't know. Sorry, just thinking on the fly. So I'll just have another one for public void increase health float val. So if core health less than 0, core health equals 0. Otherwise, just sort of keep it to less than the max. If core health less than max health, current health equals max health. Like that. Okay. Select the prefab. We'll add the health component here. I have wandered a bit from the topic of event systems because it took not that long to explain, so sorry about that, but hopefully it'll come full circle and you'll see how I'm using the actions that I described at the start to sort of help communicate between scripts. Items, projectiles, what I need. I've forgotten where I put it. Gameplay. Fuck it. So we'll just have another float for damage. Game object creator. Get rid of that. So on collision do the enter. So ping. So if collision dot collider dot transform dot roots dot get component entity action controller. Actually, entity action controller EAC equals that. And if EAC not equal to null, EAC dot on tax dot invoke with creator. And entity health. Actually no. So hopefully you can see how I sort of wanted it to work. So instead of like defining specific objects that a bullet could hit and what to do, instead if we just go through this one entity action controller, so if like every possible entity has this that could be affected by a bullet, so say explosive barrels, enemies, allies, whatever. So we can just look for this one script and invoke, and then since we're passing the specifics of that object, so the specifics of that object would pass in their own methods to be invoked once on attacked is invoked. Then hopefully you can see how that's sort of better to use and just makes users less code, and less complexity means less bugs, hopefully. So yeah, EH equals collision.collided roots dot get component. Actually, no. I'll just do another action for, where is it? Public action floats on deal damage, and then on this, anyway, you could just have this dot get components entity action controller dot on deal damage plus equals reduce health. So that will automatically call reduce health whenever the projectile hits. EAC dot deal damage dot invoke damage, and we'll just have that as well, just in case for any reason they're null. Scratch my back. So that's the projectile does it. I think I will need to go to the ranged weapon to set something to set the creator for the bullets. But that's fine. So equals that's created dot get component projectile dot creator. No, I'll just add something to set creator. So don't need that. So I'll put it somewhere better. Sorry. Public void sets creator G. Transform.roots, because it will be, because the weapon and when it's attached or when it's picked up is set to be a child of the game object or entity carrying it. So that should be fine. So fingers crossed this works. Yeah, you see he's flying. Although I'm not quite sure why he's spinning around fast enough to go into orbit, but you see as we shoot him, he'll choose the furthest away from us. And he'll just move to that, and as we move to him and attack him again, he does that. And that. He's not actually taking damage, but you can see that the event system is working as intended. And yeah, I will just add something to make sure he doesn't spin off into orbit. So where is the behaviours? So turn back to distance. This start transform the position. Actually, no, I'll put it in another one. Might not actually need can behavior be performed. whatever. So, bull, are we at point? Turn. Dot point. Distance. This dot transform the position to go to less than 1.5. And likewise, we'll just get one for... Actually, Rome doesn't need one, it's just flee. So... if not, are we at points? Hopefully that's fixed the bug where they spin around. Yeah, I am just going to change one more thing actually. Because if you sort of see, actually I'll show you again, that his legs are a bit weird. I think that's because I'm technically moving him in the direction between him and the point he wants to move to, rather than just straight forwards as you would while walking. So if I just do this, where is it? Roam. If instead of moving towards a point, we just to move dot move object transform dot forwards false. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. No, it's transformed off, isn't it? It's y-axis. So I think that will make the legs seem like he's doing the forwards animation. No. Vector 3 dot up. Nope. Let's transform that forwards. Transform that up even. So if we move and transform that up, hopefully it'll just always think it's moving forwards. Just gonna check that actually. What is he doing? Animator. So it thinks it's moved here, x 0.9. It should just always be 1 on the y. Right, so I'll just try new, vector 2, 0, 1, false, true. See if that works. Nope. It's not too big of a deal. But yeah, it works. I'll probably just leave it at that and see if, because it doesn't really matter that much. Let's find that out. Well, it kind of does actually. Okay. Well, here's the long and painful bug fixing process for you. So, and that just yeets him off into space. to another point. That's probably something that should be fixed as well, but oh well. Just pause there. What does the player animator say? Let's do that. So yeah, sorry, I'll just double check how the actual player animator moves it. Then hopefully that'll give me the right answer to why this is going badly. Not badly, but yeah, wrongly. Move object, get input for movement, so it does that. I don't quite know. Because it should technically work that if I just go new vector 2 0 1, that should move it just forwards on its axis because it's false true. That's essentially what the input manager's saying. But it doesn't. And that is perplexing. Because I know it's technically doing it right, but it's also what's being passed into the player. It's not. Maybe it's because I'm not rotating it. Summit. Oh well, let's try that. Is the rotation done on this first? On the input manager? Yeah, because it's done every frame on the that, whereas the movement isn't. So maybe it is that that's doing it. No. Yeah. That's not. Although, what I have realised now is this should be called an update, but it should be fixed update. So that's annoying. How do I fix that? Do we procrastinate and leave it for next time? It gets movement is called in fixed date rather than update. So maybe split them into two methods. So you get one sort of perform behavior where it's just for fixed update stuff, and one for normal update. Who knows? But yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that and found it somewhat useful. Got a bit off topic, but sort of came back around to it eventually, and hopefully it was useful to you. I will probably try and make a sort of better or add on more behaviors to our enemy behavior, so we can like pick up weapons and attack and have multiple choices of which to go through. Yeah. Any questions, leave them as a comment. I'll do my best to answer them. And cheers for watching. Goodbye.